And the nature of this war has evolved. So drones have become more and more prevalent. They're consumer level cheap drones. Can you speak to that? Have you seen the use of FPV drones?
Yeah, so I mean, basically like a $300 to $500 drone. I think it's like carbon fiber, 3D printed, and they can attach different forms of weaponry to it, whether it's just dropping a frag, they could drop a mine out of it. I know they were talking about how they had a liquid that could basically burn through sort of a lot of cars and tanks. So the person inside would basically melt alive, which sounds horrible. But what's mind-blowing to me is you could have like a $3 million Russian tank that could be destroyed by a $300 drone, which is just crazy how fast the war changes. I think they're kind of the world leaders in budget drone technology. They obviously don't have the budget for these crazy elaborate massive drones. I did see some higher budget, bigger drones over there, but for the most part, those FPV drones is really how most of the battles are fought. And you're seeing the cameras on them, so you can see like basically a kamikaze drone will chase someone down, and they have that footage. And that's what the police chief said to me when he gifted me one of the drones they used, and he basically said, he's like, artillery is scary, but a drone will follow you into a building. And it's like kind of a haunting thing to think about. Like they'll see the drone, they'll hear the drone, they might try to shoot it down, or they might try to run. But if it's a kamikaze one, those guys are pretty good at flying them. It's going to chase the soldiers down. A lot of soldiers like pretending to be dead. It's really crazy, some of the footage out there of those FPV drones.
So it's a terrifying tool of war and tool of psychological war, and used by both sides increasingly.
Yeah, both sides use it. I remember I was with Roman in Marseille, and he had his break period. He was allowed to leave the country because he basically volunteered to join the army. Ukrainian men can't really leave Ukraine right now. But Roman, I was in Marseille, and this was a surreal experience for him. We went to the beach, and there were some tourists there flying a drone, and you just saw his instinctual reaction to that drone sound in the sky. Flashback to that.
Currently, they're all, as far as I know, all human controlled, so FPV. But to me, increasingly terrifying notion is of them becoming autonomous. Because the best way to defend against a drone that's FPV controlled is for AI to be controlling that drone. Just have swarms of drones that are $500 controlled by AI systems. And that's a terrifying possibility that the future of warfare is essentially swarms of drones on both sides. And then maybe swarms of drones, say, between US and China over Taiwan.
That would be wild. Because, I mean, they do those crazy drone light shows where they do those performances with the lights and stuff. So they're already pretty sophisticated with sort of pre-programming.
Those are pre-programmed. So the low-level control, flight control of those is done autonomously, but there's a interface for doing the choreography that's hard-coded in. But adding increasing levels of intelligence to a drone where you can detect another drone, follow it, and defend yourself. In terms of the military on both sides of the Ukraine war, that's a technology that's like the most wanted technology is drone defense. Like, how do you defend against drones on both sides? And anybody that comes up with an autonomous drone technology is going to help whichever side uses that technology to gain a military advantage. And so there's a huge incentive to build that technology. But then, of course, once both sides start using that technology, then there's swarms of autonomous drones who don't give a shit about humans, just killing everything in sight on both sides. And that's terrifying, because the civilian deaths that are possible that are terrifying, especially when you look 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now.
Yes, I mean, it's surreal. Like when we went to Kherson, he was like, the entire sky is just full of drones at any given time. They could decide to come and attack. So like they could just sit there forever waiting for you to come out of that building. They'll wait a long time when someone goes and hides inside, or potentially if it's an open window, fly straight through the open window to get people.
Yeah, so you're not even safe indoors.
Yeah, there's nowhere to hide, and they can wait for a very, very long time.
And as far as I know, even politicians, like, you're in danger everywhere in Ukraine. So if you want to do a public speaking thing and doing it outside, you're in danger, because it's very difficult to detect those drones. They could be anywhere. So it's a terrifying life where you don't know if you're safe at any moment, anywhere in Ukraine.
Well, sure. I mean, it's crazy with what happened to Trump. I thought maybe the next attack on a public figure might come in the form of drone technology, some sort of something along those lines. I wonder how they protect against that here.
If that happens, just imagine the insanity that would ensue. Because we understand the idea of a gunman with a rifle shooting somebody. But just like a drone, just imagine the conspiracy theories. Who controlled that drone?
Where did it come from? Yeah.
And now everybody, I mean, that will just cause chaos.
And the range is ever increasing. One of the battalions in Ukraine, because those FPV drones have short range, pretty short range, but they were able to attach it to one of the larger drones with a signal booster. So they could potentially go up to 30, 40 kilometers into the distance. So the drone that hits you could be flown by someone so far away from you. And if they did that domestically, that would be very frightening to think of the sphere of where it could have come from.